It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from Mallassepa Brewery in Finland. And this is a can of their West Coast IPA in a Red Bull style can. 330 milliliter can. It's 5.5% ABV. We have a drink fresh, hops fade fast, serve at 7 degrees. Information on the back of the can. It's giving some body, bitterness and hop flavour gauges on the back. I like that image. Now, this image of, I mean, let's be fair, it's got like a Viking look to it. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. When the Vikings populated those northern countries, they were faced with like really harsh conditions, like, and they battled through Norway, Finland, Greenland, Iceland. The Vikings like managed to turn such a hostile place like Iceland into somewhere to live and produce things. That's just bonkers. And of course they're still there today. They're still populating Iceland today. It must be really bleak in the winter, but it's a mentality of strength. It's a strength mentality. When you think of Vikings, you think of strong, or when you think of kind of like how bleak it would have been back in the day trying to populate a place like Iceland with no crops, and it must have been awful in the winters, So I like this branding on the front of the can. There's a big guy with a great big hammer smacking some malt type of thing. It gives that very interpretation, if you like, of that kind of that strength, and of course the beers as well. When you drink the beers from these countries, they're always generally kind of like higher ABV beers, which I think is fantastic in its own right. So West Coast IPA should be really bitter, should be really flavoursome. Let's get the beer out into a glass and see what we get. So we got a 2-finger white head, good levels of carbonation rolling up the side of the glass. It's an amber coloured beer. I think by the time we get maybe the little bit of sediment that could be in the bottom of the can, it will probably be a little bit hazy. We'll get to that in a moment, but we got a bit of a head that we can't do that right now. The hops are Mosaic, Citra, Columbus and the IBU is a 50. That's not a hop. That's the bitterness. Aroma then on this amber coloured ale. It smells lovely. Really, really lovely. Really, really juicy for a West Coast. But you get that kind of lurking bitterness that's hanging around a little bit there. It smells really good. Really, really good. A little bit of pineapple, a little bit of passion fruit, mango. Slight earthiness, slight pepperiness, spiciness coming through. You get a little sense of that sweet malt in there, slightly kind of digestive biscuit aroma coming through. It smells terrific, absolutely terrific. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Oh, yes, this is good. This is very good. Did we get a little bit of haze? There is a little bit of haze here. Now they've gone through a bit of a rebranding. They were kind of big, tall boy, like 500ml cans, the Mallassepa beers that we've been drinking previously, and they've seemed to have changed things to a 330ml can, Red Bull style cans. It tastes great. You see that little bit of haziness in there now. I'm able to swirl the beer around in the glass to be able to kind of recreate that carbonation chasing the head of the glass. It looks really, really good. Fantastic aromas. Oh. They've got the bitterness done, I would say, to perfection. They've nailed the bitterness here on this beer. You're getting a lot of fruit in the middle. First of all, you get a little bit of sweet malt. A little bit of sweet malt to begin with. A little bit of wafer. A little bit of digestive biscuit. And then it goes over to your passion fruit, your mango, your grapefruit, your orange peel, your fleshy blood orange in the middle. But then, years ago, these West Coast IPAs then, they would finish with like a smacking, like smack you round the face, big, massive, strong bitterness. And that's what the brewers thought that what people wanted. I loved it. I loved that. Oh, you know, that massive bitterness. But it's refrained here. It's refrained. It's more. It's definitely bitter. It's definitely bitter. But it says on the front of the can 50 IBUs. So it's a refrained bitterness. So the IBUs are the international bittering units in beer. 0 is no bitterness at all. 100 is the most that your palate can register, can take. So 50, bang down the middle. You're talking kind of, there's a nice amount of bitterness coming through on this beer. But that just makes the beer even more drinkable. I like bitterness in my beer. But if this was 100 IBUs, I would only be able to drink one of these. Because they've kind of scaled back the bitterness a little bit, because they've made it 50 IBUs, it satisfies... If you're a beer drinker that likes bitterness, it would satisfy your bitterness needs, if you like, drinking these styles of beer. But it always also was the word, but it also means that you can drink a few of them. I'd be quite happy. I would be quite happy to tuck 4 of these away. 4 of these on a nice summer. I wonder what summer's like in Finland. Whenever you think of Finland, whenever you think of I go to Norway a lot, and most of the time it's beautiful. Go to the summer, it's absolutely fantastic. The sunshine, the greenery, it's a fantastic place. But in your mind, you think of these countries. It's because of the TV. I blame the television. Whenever you see stuff on the telly about Finland or Norway or Sweden, it's always like freezing cold and they're riding around on reindeers. It's simply not true. It's simply not true. Well, no, it is true if you go in the winter. There's definitely snow everywhere. But there's more to these countries than that. If you go in the summertime, I went to Sweden in August, something like 2017 now. I went to a beer festival at Brewski, and the sun was beaming down. I was in my shorts and t-shirt, and it was boiling hot. And I was drinking some amazing beers and speaking to amazing people. But you get the views. It's always so beautiful in these countries. You still hold on to that kind of fresh greenery, fresh air, but the sun's beating down as well. It's a wonderful place. I was brought up, I know this is a slightly different subject now, and I'll be very quick, but I was brought up as a youngster. My parents would take me to countries like Malta, Spain, an awful lot, Portugal, all these kind of southern European, lay on the beach all day, boiling hot. Can't really do much in the middle of the day. Unless you're jumping into a swimming pool and swimming in the water all day, which is fine, I quite like doing that. You can't really do much. I remember being in Turkey one year, and the next town over from the hotel was 2 miles away. And we decided to go there to do a bit of shopping and have a beer. By the time I got there, walking 2 miles in the blazing Turkish heat, I was a mess. I was a complete mess. I was like I walked through the desert type of thing. Face was sweating, hair was all over the place. Searching for a beer as quick as I could when I got there. That sort of thing. Don't get me wrong, it's nice. It's nice. But equally, it's just as nice to go to head north. I love heading north now. I love going up now because it offers so much more kind of, I think, satisfaction. The air is fresher, the water is cleaner, the sun still beats down from the sky, believe it or not. Yeah, I don't know how we got to that, to be honest. I was thinking about IPA and summers, wasn't I? I think that's why we landed there. But yeah, I can imagine, I've never been to Finland, drinking this on a warm Finnish day. That's where we were. Just loving life. Just loving life. So I'm going to rate this. Looks good, smells good, tastes good. Yeah. Gonna rate it. I'm gonna give that, I like that a lot. I'm gonna give that a Stone the Crows 9 out of 10. So 9 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.